are to walk through how to create the illusion that you have something like a poster or photograph or a painting, but on one of the side walls. So on a wall that's not going to be flat, it's going to be slightly angled, which is kind of hard to imagine when you're trying to draw it. So we are going to be using this online site, and it's a photo editing site. It's very similar to something called Photoshop, which is a great way to edit images, but it is called Pixlr, Pixlr, Pixlr.com. And there are two different types of editors that you're able to use on this specific site. There is one that's called Pixlr X, which has, just like fun little filters and layers and things and stuff you could add to it. We want the more advanced Pixlr. It helps us be able to manipulate things a little bit more. So click on the Pixlr E. Even if you just Google Pixlr E, it pops right up in Google or Bing search engines. And you're going to hit the button Create New, and you'll pick one of these to create something new. You can, whether or not you want to have a background on it, all that kind of stuff. But I'm actually going to use one that I have in my history because I have it set up for you guys. And this might look familiar. It kind of looks like a room, okay? And that has a point. And what we are going to do is if you look on the left side, you have all of these different tools at your disposal. Okay, you can hover over them. It tells you what they are. Play around that, and you can figure out what they do. Okay, and then over here, it's where we can manipulate how close or how far we are away from whatever we're working with. It also has all these different layers, okay? And that's something really special about Photoshop and Pixlr and a lot of other editing art softwares is that they work in layers. So if I am adding color to just the background, I can erase stuff on the background. I don't ruin the other things and that are in layers because I have different parts of my artwork be in different layers. So I'm going to actually hit this plus button. It's right above the history bar, and that's going to give me the option to add a layer that has something. So adding a new layer to my piece. It can either be empty, have an image, or I can add text, but I want to add an image, okay? And what image I'm going to select is the one that I'm going to be using for my poster. So like say I have a movie poster, okay, like Jurassic Park. Okay, I'm going to go back up here to that zoom out that I pointed out before and shrink this down so it's a little bit more of a manageable size to be working with for here. Let's shrink that down, bring that over here. I'm going to zoom it back in since now I'm at a normal size. There we go. And I'm actually going to manipulate this a little bit. And what you will notice is that we have a new layer here, okay? And you can actually right click and give the layer a new name, poster. But you don't need to for this whole purpose. So now I have my poster layer, and then there's my background. So what I'm going to do is I want to figure out how big I want my poster on my wall, okay? And so if I want it on my back wall about this big, and I want it to be actually on this wall, and it's going to be a little bit skewed, which is what we're going for, I need to use some orthogonals that go through the top corner and the bottom corner. So then the size that I'm thinking about for if it was on this wall matches the size it would end up being here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, after I get my orthogonals in there, is I am going to drag this so then it matches the orthogonal at the top and matches the orthogonal at the bottom, okay? And don't worry if it starts to get blurry and that kind of stuff. You can work from it. It's just fine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hover over here and I'm going to do File. Oh, my apologies. I'm going to go under Edit because I'm playing around with it. And what you're going to do is you're going to hit Free Distort. Okay, so that's underneath the Edit across the top. Free Distort. And what this does is it gives you the ability to pull and stretch the corners of your piece. So I just want to get it so it lines up with my orthogonal for starters. Okay, but I also know that when something is against that wall, it's going to appear skinnier. So I'm going to actually get a little bit skinnier and line it up with my orthogonal. I'm going to do that on both of these. Okay, orthogonal, line up both sides. Maybe just a hair thinner. There we go. And then I want to hit yes, that I want to apply that distortion. And then that is what my poster would look like if I zoomed it in. So let's take a look. Okay, notice how it follows those orthogonal lines. That is something that's extremely important, okay? Because if it was a window, it would do the same thing. But this helps us with the whole idea of what does our image look like when we play around with it, okay, when we adjust it. So then it has that illusion that it's on the wall, okay? So doing that free distort really, really helps with that, okay? So what you can do is I'm actually going to zoom out. I'm going to hit this button. Looks like, well, when I hover over it, it says crop, so then I can trim what I have. I'm actually going to crop it so I just have that poster. Hit the return button, hit enter, and then it isolates it so it's by itself. And you're actually to go up here and you can actually save this image, or you can screenshot it and use it as a reference when you are working on your perspective drawing. So that's essentially all you need to know about how to distort your image so it looks like it is sitting on a wall. So I hope this is helpful, and check out my other videos.